I think that there are systemic gaps, there are grace gaps, so we stand in the gap for our kids, for the system, for foster care as a whole. Our job is not to solve this gap that exists, but the more people standing in it, the more people working in that gap, the smaller it becomes, and our kids start feeling like the smaller that gap becomes. If it's not us standing in the gap for these kids, advocating for these kids, then who does that? I joke a lot that the children's home, we are a dysfunctional family. We are a chaotic family. Maybe our pasts have been very different from one another, but our presents are all bringing us here to this shared environment. Kids are coming from circumstances that they had no control over. Kids are in some of the darker periods of their life right now while they are placed with us. And so at St. Vincent, while we are an institution, at the end of the day, we try to make this as much of a home as possible. Kids need to be experiencing the normalcy of what that can look like. It doesn't take away what our kids have experienced or the really dark circumstances that have placed a child with us. However, the more day-to-day joy that we can have and connectedness that we can have through experiences, through relationships, that makes a huge impact on a child's overall brain development, but then just this sense of feeling a part of something, feeling a part of the community that the children's home is. Are you getting coffee?
Yes,
okay, good. Thanks.
I'm getting coffee.
And what's that? The reality is success is in the fluid parts of our job. It's in the minute-to-minute exchanges with our kids. Success has to be defined by increased connection for our children to themselves and to the people in the world around them. The experiences that we can provide to our kids are huge. We might be bringing 40 of our kids to the zoo, or we might be bringing them camping up in the UP. Those things are amazing because it gives our kids memories beyond their day-to-day darkness or stress. To me, the experiences are a conduit to the relationships and the connection that our kids need to be experiencing, because every human deserves that in their life. We're gonna head in here. The reality is our to-do list, our what's next list is ever growing. You know, appliances, the lights, those things, like it's kind of a rotational need, right? That you feel like you start and finish something. Well, this unit hasn't been done now for 5 years and trying to get on to that next project. Without the support to be able to provide experiences, we are limited to the unique ways we can build connection and build worth within our kids. When our kids can feel like they matter enough to be building connections with people, which is their right now family, it makes them feel worth the ability to find that meaning and that relationship outside of St. Vincent. Thanks again, Mr. Schulteis. I don't really know how to put into words the impact that Riv's support over 2018 has given our kids. You have given them normalcy. You have allowed St. Vincent to not bear the weight of finding the financial support, but rather than just bearing the weight of finding the relational connection with our kids. To me, that's huge. These opportunities show that there are the hands and feet of Christ doing and living and being the message that we have been called for. If the community, if me, if you, if we all could just continue to be these grace givers, then I have to trust that our kids are going to be the receivers of that. And if they're the receivers of grace, it's easier to give grace, and it's easier to kind of go out and impact in a super meaningful way our society. We might not understand it all. We might not be able to completely empathize with our children and the circumstances that they are in. But man, if we could all just share that grace with one another and that kindness, we have to trust that if our kids could receive that day in and day out, no matter their circumstances, I just feel like that continues to build within them this sense of like, I am worth it. I just really look forward to 2019 to see where this continued partnership and sense of community that Riv and the Children's Home have established continue to flourish, because to me that's what it's all about. We are all, as a community, gap filling for these kids.